think of your best friend, or think of someone that you really care for. Would you tell that person that they're not good enough? Or that nobody will like them? Or that they will never find a suitable partner? Or that they are a failure? Or that there's no point in trying because they will fail anyway? Or that they are not worthy of love and attention? And I think there are many more negative things that we could say to this particular person. But would you say that to, your best friend or the person that you really care for? I guess you're probably gonna say no. But then I'm really curious, why not? Why wouldn't you say those things to your best friend or, the person that you really care for? Maybe probably because those are not so nice things to say. And you don't want to make that person feel bad about themselves. Or maybe because you wouldn't ever think those things about that person. But how come? And I just gave a few examples of, negative phrases that we could think about someone else. But how come it's so easy to say those things to ourselves? Or to let those kind of thoughts run around in our own head? How come we are okay with that? Maybe not okay with that, but how come that doesn't trigger the same kind of reaction when we would think about our friend or our partner? Or why is that different? Well, one of the reasons could be that we're not always aware of our thoughts. Like, I think the majority of our thoughts are like replaying in our head in a more subconscious way. Like, we're not always aware of all our negative thoughts. So that could be one of the reasons. And then when we say them out loud, or we become more aware of them, it can be quite confrontational, to realize how often in a day we speak negatively towards ourselves. And this often is the result of us telling ourselves a story for so many years that it has become a habit that whenever things happen in life, we have to deal with certain situations, or we will interpret it in a way, or we will, see it through the lens of this story about our life or about ourselves. Because maybe we've had a lot of bad experiences or similar experiences, and we tend to then focus more on those negative experiences that will confirm our negative story. So the story will be reinforced over and over again. also see proof around us of this, that of the validity of the story that we are telling ourselves. And another reason why we are more comfortable saying those things to ourselves or believing those negative things about ourselves is because we have a kind of like emotional wound from the past. And this could be from childhood, wherein we experienced long periods of time wherein, you know, we felt we weren't seen, or we weren't loved, or we had to like go through difficult situations without any support, that basically we felt that we weren't met in our needs, which then can lead to a feeling of, and this is, I think, mostly subconscious, that we feel that, you know, that we feel like this lack, you know, feeling of lack, a feeling of not being worthy enough for, you know, getting attention or being loved, or and in a way that makes us feel like we were left in the dark woods. And this, you know, can be like the undercurrent, you know, in our system, that there's always this lack feeling, and because of this feeling, you know, that will also mutually influence, you know, the story that, you know, we have been telling ourselves so far about ourselves and about our life. And if nothing is being done with this emotional wound that we are carrying along, and also not with, you know, the negative repeating story that we are telling ourselves every day, you know, then it's kind of like an accumulation of, it's not gonna help our self-worth, you know. We will be accumulation of like putting ourselves down, feeling down, putting ourselves down, and as a result we will not create, you know, different situations, or it's gonna be hard to experience you know, like the counter evidence that we might be worthy, and that other people might like us, and yeah. So what to do about is, well, some people are inclined to like you know, maybe push the negative story aside and not look at it, and you know, it already happened, so we cannot change anything about it, so just continue with life and focus on the positive, which can be helpful but not always, because in doing that we don't really process, or we don't really connect with the emotional wound that is still somewhere stored in our body. So it's really important that we acknowledge that little person in us that was left in the dark woods, and that, you know, we acknowledge the feelings around that, and allow the feelings around that, process the feelings around that, and comfort the little person in us that it was really difficult, you know, to go through all that, or to have experienced this lack of love, and, you know, that it wasn't fair. And at the same time, at the mental level, proactively change the story that we always tell ourselves, like to change it more to a more positive story. But I'm gonna elaborate on that more in the next video.